Wholeness is that sense of nothing being missing. There's nothing lacking. Wholeness. And what you and I are here to learn is that wholeness is not outside of you. That wholeness is your divine nature. Now that works against the part of us that believes that it is separate from God, from life. And believes that in order for me to experience wholeness, my life has to show up in a certain way for me to have that experience. Do we know this one? That it's sort of a conditioned wholeness, which actually is to say that you're conditioning God. You're saying God really is not infinite. Because if God is infinite, then where in you would there be an absence of that? Where in you would there be an absence of love? If God is infinite. By saying that I can't have the experience of love or peace unless people act a certain way or life goes a certain way, we're basically saying that there's a part of God that's missing from me. Wow. That's not the God I thought. Maybe that's a God I made up in my image and likeness. Because if this infinite presence and power and love is infinite, then it must be as complete in me as it would be in the most exalted place that I can think of. It's not outside of myself. It's within me. So this journey that you and I are on all the time is to turn around and to stop looking for that peace and that love out in the world. And that's not easy, is it? It's not easy because there is a part of us, and it's an active part of us, and it oftentimes becomes the default way of you and I responding to life is to react to life as it seems to be against us when we're not connected to the truth of who we are, when we're aligned with a separate sense of identity, when you and I have come to believe that we are something less than the creation of God. And of course, we all come by that honestly because we got messages as we were developing our psyche and we were developing our beliefs and everything that were not messages that were coming from the truth. They were coming through the conditioned filters of those who raised us and those who cared for us and how the world responded to us. And instead of us holding on to this essential knowing of our wholeness, we, in order to navigate this life, in order to feel safe and protected and to feel like we could keep ourselves from being hurt, we took on the beliefs that resulted from us being treated in a way that suggested that that love, that our lovability had to do with how we behaved. And so we began to believe that we weren't loved unless we're being a certain way. So we created this notion of conditional love, and then we do the same thing with this notion of peace, that in order for us to have peace in a lifetime, everything needs to sort of settle down, and that we're externally referenced in our life so much that we forget that true peace has nothing to do with what's happening out here in the world. That Jesus called it the peace that passeth human understanding. Speaking slowly, the words will come out correctly. So when you think about the peace that passes human understanding, obviously it's not going to be the peace that we gain when life goes a certain way. That's the human understanding kind of peace. If I get what I want, then I'm going to feel happy and peaceful and fulfilled. And if I don't get what I want, then it's not possible for me to be peaceful. That's the human understanding. But Jesus said that you could have the peace that passeth human understanding, which is already part of your spiritual DNA. That's, in other words, it's already who you are. We call off the search when we understand this. We stop looking outside of ourselves. We can even call off the self-improvement project. How many people are in favor of that? How many people have been on a self-improvement project for ever? And it's like, I hope I finally get to be that person that I would finally like, or that I would respect, or that the world would recognize, or whatever. You know, the truth is that you have already arrived. And what it is we don't know it. We don't know the beauty of our own nature. We don't know the peace, the love, the brilliance, the wholeness that we experience when we go inside and discover this. And this is what all spiritual growth is about. Spiritual growth isn't about becoming some sort of spiritual martial art or something so that you can manipulate life, or you can manipulate people in a way so that you don't have to deal with your own stuff. Well, some of us believe that that's, to be spiritually sophisticated is to know how you can create your own reality. And what I say to that is, yeah, you can do that, but guess what? If you get sold on the idea of creating your external reality, then you will never get this message. And then life will continue to have to be a certain way for you to be okay. And if you slip up on your own reality practices one day, and people are not the way you want them to be, and life is not showing up the way you want, then where are you? So we're here really to do the deep work of exfoliating all those aspects that we have put in place and we have come to believe that stand in the way of our wholeness and our self-worth. Would you be up for that? Maybe for 7 weeks, or 7 years, or 7 lifetimes.